Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. If you find that this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let us know how it resonates with your circumstance. So, chosen, I want to talk to you all about a dream that I had a couple of nights ago. So, in this dream, I was actually in like a hospital like setting. It looked to me like it was a mental institution. And I'm not sure what role I had there, but I ended up receiving a text message from someone else who was actually at this particular facility. And they said, hey, is there any way that you could figure out how to get us out of here? And so they was telling me that there was some sort of tunnel that I could, um, you know, maneuver through if I could just figure out how to get the screws loose or something like that, right? And so they was telling me to look up different ways that I could do it. So I was like, well, why will we go through such a complicated process when we could probably just walk out the door? So I had this person follow me, and we went up to someone who was, I guess they were supposed to be like in a position of authority at this particular facility. And I asked him, like, how do you get to, I can't remember the exact place that I was asking him how you get to, but he was like, okay, you just go through the front door right there. So we left out of the facility, literally. And the person that I took with me, he took off running like he was a fugitive. And so I was just like, okay, yeah, that was easy. So later on, I ended up, this is like in a different part of the dream. I don't know. It's like I just jumped dimensions. And I ended up purchasing this really huge house, right? And when I was looking out of the window of the house, I could see my view. It was just beautiful. And I remember thinking, like, I have access to everything that I need, all of the shopping centers, everything was literally right there within walking distance. And a further down, also within walking distance, was this beautiful opening to this forest preserve. So I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to go and take a walk. So I started walking. I ended up inside of this beautiful forest preserve, and there was a lot of like jarred herbs, like herbal oils, herbal tinctures, even pickled, like jarred pickles and olives and stuff like that. And I was walking past, this was all in the forest preserve, just stacked up, like you could just go in and pick whatever you wanted, right? And so I was like, man, this is beautiful. So I'm just really relishing in it. And behind me, I hear someone with a motorcycle passing by, and it was playing a song that I really liked. I can't remember the song, but I started dancing as I was walking. So apparently this person was paying attention to me dancing. And so they doubled back. And he was like, hey, I just wanted to know if you wanted to join my business. And he started explaining to me how things worked. And I was just like, okay, I pretty much told him, like, it sounds to me like it's a pyramid scheme. Like, so I was like, yeah, in other words, I sell the product, I get other people to work for me, I become the manager. And then the only way I can stay at that position is if they get other people to buy the product and then work for them. So I was telling him, like, this is exactly what I think it is. It's a pyramid scheme. So out of nowhere, this other guy shows up in this really fancy car, really fancy suit or whatnot. And he starts talking to me about the business, almost as if he wanted me to think like, look, you can get here, even though this, you're looking at him and this is where he's at. This is the next level, right? So they kept trying to convince me. And I told the guy, I was like, I never see myself working for someone again in my life. And I most definitely wouldn't do a pyramid scheme. And I told him, I was like, I work for myself doing what I love. I says, I'm a spiritual advisor. And I told him some other things that I actually had lined up. And he was looking at me with this expression like, wow, almost to say, I can't believe that you didn't fall for it, based on how he was looking. And, he had the appearance of being wealthy, but that doesn't mean that that's the case. All of that could be just for image, just to, as a sales pitch, right? So that was the dream, which was pretty interesting. So if we go back to the beginning, there was this illusion of entrapment that other people around me had. They were in this mindset that, hey, you got to go through all of these extreme measures to get yourself up out of something that It was really easy, a very simple solution to just walk right out the door, ask the necessary questions, and go where you needed to go. But it shows that there's a lot of people out here who are definitely feeling trapped, and they need your guidance, chosen. You can actually show them the way without them taking such complicated measures. Because this dude wanted me to figure out how to get through underground tunnels and, learn how to adjust screws and all this other foolishness. And I'm like, well, why would we do all of that when you could just walk out the front door, which is ultimately what we did. And when we got out, like I said, he took off running like he was afraid that he was going to get trapped and taken right back in. Whereas for me, when I left, I went to go and purchase a huge home. It was like, okay, it was a simple solution. Walk out of this place and go do what you love. Go do what you desire. And that's exactly what I did. But down my path, which would be the representation of the forest preserve, right? That's the narrow path that you're taking where you're smelling the roses and you're seeing all of the beautiful possibilities. I feel like the pickled olives and the jarred herbs and tinctures was a representation of the possibilities that could come from connecting to nature, but also being on this spiritual path, right? And so I'm just relishing in that, enjoying that. And here comes someone who wants to pull me back in to illusions, entrapment. Okay, the pyramid scheme is nothing but a trap, right? It's a way of getting you on this cycle of thinking like, okay, if I just get one more client, if I could just get one more person to join, if I could just, convince one more individual that this is where it's at, then maybe I can climb the ladder of success. And for the other guy to come in, with this illusion, further perpetuating the illusion through his wardrobe and his so-called, fancy car or whatnot. It's just like this energy of temptation where along your path, chosen, you're going to have people that come in who want you to think that the path that you're on is not going to lead you towards success. They want you to believe that it can't be that simple, right? So they got to complicate things with pyramid schemes. It may not be pyramid schemes exactly, but I'm saying that is the representation of the type of energy that they bring. They want to deter you and make you think that, no, you have to take this path if you really want to be wealthy and successful. But even in my dream, I was very clear about what direction I was headed in, and not even close to being tempted by their offer. So I definitely see that many of you are very clear about the path that you're taking, and you're not trapped in the matrix anymore. It's like I was as I was getting ready to do this message, I heard this song, and I haven't heard this song in years. It's by The Game. I think 50 Cent might have been in it too, and it's hated or love it, the underdogs on top. And I'm going to shine, homie, until my heart stops. Go ahead and envy me. I'm rap's MVP and I ain't going nowhere so you can get to know me. So it's like that energy of saying, whether people like it or not, you're already on top. You're going to continue to shine. And with that, the part of saying, go ahead and envy me. Yes, they're going to be jealous of how it seems easy. From their vantage point, it seems like the way that you get to success, chosen, like it came easily for you. Even though they wasn't there to see the hardship. Many of them, they did see it, but they turned a blind eye to it because they didn't want to assist you. But for those people who were not around and watching you go through your struggles, it's going to seem like it was easy to them. Okay, because you're going to have this overflow of abundance. And again, MVP, most valuable person, most valuable player, like you're being put on a pedestal. The Most High will be showing a lot of people just how favored you are. And so, yes, it's going to bring about envy. It's going to bring about jealousy. People are going to want to pull you backwards because, like you said, go ahead and envy me. I'm rap's MVP and I'm not going nowhere. So people are going to want to try to pull you backwards and deter you from your path. But he's also like, so you can get to know me. In other words, this is who I am. I'm not changing. I'm not shifting for nobody. This is the path that I'm destined to take. And I will not be drawn in by your pyramid schemes or your illusions of inclusion, or to have, or to have you believing, chosen, that another way is the only way. because the path that you're on, it can't possibly lead you to wealth and abundance. That's not true, because what I had already discovered, I mean, I had already purchased the house. They didn't even know. They just saw me walking through the forest preserve, I guess thinking like, she can't have much. If she had a lot, then I guess they figured I would be out flaunting it somewhere. I would be out, putting on this facade for the world, dressing a particular way and purchasing certain things in order to prove my wealth. But I had literally just dropped money on a house before I went to go take my walk through the forest preserve. But they wouldn't know that, because in their minds, again, it's all about the illusion. What can you show for what you have? And I feel like, Chosen, you all are very humble out there. But you're also very smart and wise with how you're spending and how you're moving. The most wealthy people who are humble, who understand that they're wealthy, they don't need to prove it to anybody through buying particular things, or, it's not about being flashy. Your wealth comes from your peace of mind, your inner strength, your creativity, your happiness, your self-love. That's true wealth for you. Being surrounded by trustworthy people, that's wealth. But it doesn't mean that you don't have also the financial wealth to back up all of those beautiful things that you've created internally. Of course you will have that. That's universal law. You can't be internally wealthy and be externally poor. It just don't work that way. You will attract wealth when you're internally wealthy. And so you've already discovered the key to an overflow harvest. And I think a lot of people, they feel like you're still out here looking and searching for someone to come and grab your hand and walk you like you're a toddler. No, you have the Most High Mother and Father and your spiritual team that's constantly guiding you. So you already have the keys to the universe. You already know how to generate wealth. But a lot of these beings really do feel like you are a part of those who are spiritually handicapped or mentally handicapped. That's why we did start off the dream in a mental institution, where it would be a lot of people, at mental institutions, you have a lot of people who are not mentally balanced enough to dictate their own lives. They need someone there to assist them, okay, to guide them. But that's not you, Chosen. You know exactly where you're going, and you know exactly how to get there. Oh, and that was another part of my dream. That's what I forgot to mention. The man that I went to and asked him how to get to a particular place, he was one of the authority figures at the mental institution, right? And he actually ended up, wow, I just saw maybe that was an orange butterfly, or maybe it wasn't, maybe it was an orange leaf. He was actually, he was going around and plucking feathers from anything that he could find a feather from. He was plucking feathers, and he was very adamant about collecting a feather from every living thing on the planet. Like, he literally said that in the dream, and I wasn't there, like, literally. I think I became like a spirit just observing him, because I had already left. So it was kind of weird how that part was unfolding. But what I saw was he had people that was working for him. He was like dictating to them, like, go and get a feather. I want this, bring this animal, bring this bird, bring this. It was even fairies there, y'all. It was fairies. And I remember he went up to a fairy. It was a melanated fairy, a woman. And he was like, okay, give me one of your feathers. And she was like, no, if you're going to take my feather, you need to give me $7. So he was like, he told the men who was working for him, he was like, get a feather from her. And he told her, he was like, you're acting like you're not going to shed those feathers anyway. Just give me a feather. So in other words, he pretty much, bogarted his way in and took what he wanted by taking one of her feathers. But I forgot to add that part. That's what was also in the dream. And so I also feel like that's representation of a lot of these so-called authoritative figures, who really thought that they were in a position of power over you, Chosen. Many of them are finding that they can't take certain height. They can't fly certain heights. They can't get to certain levels of elevation like you can. And so they're going around trying to see what they can do, like collecting from different people, different energies to try and see if they can gain some sort of wings here. I feel like he was collecting feathers to create wings, and but he was bogarting, taking them, right? Which is interesting because a lot of these so-called beings who are in a position of authority right now, they're losing their position of authority, and they're starting to realize that it's going to take supernatural means in order for them to, move into the 5D realm. But they don't have what it takes because they're doing it from a very low vibrational space. Like they're doing it without integrity. They're trying to take shortcuts by taking from others who have gained their wings to see if they could, over time accumulate enough to create their own wings. But that's not going to work. It's not going to work, chosen. And so that was another part of the dream that strongly emphasizes how you have a natural ability to fly higher heights. You don't need to be, you don't need your hand held. But a lot of these beings out here, they're scrambling and they're very, very fearful of what things are going to look like for them if they don't evolve the way that you have chosen. But they can't. They can't because they have a few lifetimes to play out their karma. And so their karma consists of them being in a low state, not being able to evolve, having to deal with lack and illness and mental stress and traumas. And like that's their fate because that's what they have caused to many, many, many people for many, many generations. And so that's what they are in the background working on, trying to figure out ways that they can gain wings to evolve to the 5D dimension, but they cannot. So I know that was a lot, but I definitely had to share that dream with you all. And if you find that for whatever reason it resonates, or if you have anything to add to it, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I would love to see what you all have to say. But overall, chosen, you all are at that point where, you are who you are. You're not trying to coddle anybody's feelings anymore. It's like if they can't get to know you for who you are and who you're becoming, you could care less. Like you're taking flight, moving into a different direction and moving full speed. You're not wasting any time. It's not hurting you. It's not causing any heartache or pain for you. You're focused. You have a lot of creative ideas that you're working on, and it's getting ready to lead you to a lot of wealth and abundance. And so you're more than happy to take the leap of faith into a new beginning alone. Okay. And you don't need anybody trying to pull you in, telling you, oh, this is the way to wealth. This is the way to happiness. This is the way to XYZ. Nor do you need any complicated paths or routes. You know how to free yourself, and it doesn't take all of that unnecessary foolishness in order to do it. The Most High has given you the key to the universe, and you're using it because you've earned it. So that's my message for you all. I hope that it brought you some form of clarity. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to y'all next time.